My name is Molly Burgess, and I'm from Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, about 45 minutes from Philadelphia, which is now winter and it's very cold there. So, and I've moved to Playa. All right, I've been to Mexico several times in Playa, del Carmen several times. And every time I came, I just loved it. And I kept saying, you know, when I retire, I'm going to move to Mexico because I had a lifetime of winter with snow and cold weather. And I just love the sunshine, the weather, you know, the beach and the food. So as I got closer to retirement age, I started thinking about it more and more. And initially was thinking of just living in Mexico for 6 months during the winter and then moving someplace else in the United States, maybe someplace in the mountains with lakes or something like that. And then I got closer and closer, even closer to retirement age. And I've had a lot of different life situations change in my life. And I'm like, you know, I think I'm just going to move to Mexico. I'm healthy. I have the income and I might as well do it now, you know, before I can not do it. So I just started on the internet about Mexico. I didn't really consider any other countries. I liked the proximity that it was close to the United States so that if I needed to go home, it's just a 4-hour flight, 3-hour, 4-hour flight back to Philadelphia. I looked into different things, you know, like about coming as a tourist. And then, you know, I'm like, well, if I'm going to live here, then I'd have to be temporary or a permanent resident. So I kind of looked at the guidelines of what that was. And I'm like, you know, I'm just going to go for permanent. I have the income and I just want to be done with the process, like one and done. So I chose Playa del Carmen to move to because this is where I've come when I've come on vacation, and I just always loved the area. I like Caribbean Sea. So I didn't really consider any other part of Mexico to move to. I picked this area because when I came here on vacation, I always stayed at the same hotel, which was right off of Fifth Avenue. So I was familiar with this area. So I didn't really think about looking at any other place. I just liked it here, and this is where I moved to. I didn't really investigate any other areas, truthfully, or any other part of Mexico. Sadly, I didn't really even realize how big Mexico is. I mean, that there's so many, there's mountains and, you know, lake areas and the West Coast. Looking for an apartment, I went on Google again, and just keyed in like long-term rentals in Playa del Carmen. And it gave me different real estate websites. I looked at the different websites, looked at the apartments and tried to kind of get the idea of where they were. I wasn't real familiar with all the neighborhoods, but I kind of tried to figure that out, and I would contact them. And I did this roughly about 3 months prior to moving here. I was moving in February, which is high season. They said it's too soon. We don't know what's going to be available. So I just kept trying at it. And I also went on Facebook. They have expat groups. And I kind of stated like what I was looking for. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, pet friendly. They were and near the beach, shopping and restaurants. They were like my key things. I'm really lucky because it has a lot of things that I did not even think about that actually worked out for me. Here, a lot of places, it's just 1 month's rent. Sometimes it's a partial deposit. Some of it isn't. Having a dog, they did ask for a security deposit because I have a dog, and that's about it. That's pet friendly is not the easiest. A lot of them don't want pets, although my dog's probably about 35 pounds, beagle size. That was probably the hardest thing, trying to find a place that was pet friendly. So The rent here is probably a little higher than what most people would want to pay because, you know, that's what you hear, that the cost of living is so inexpensive in Mexico, and it is. But I do pay for the fact that I am 2 minutes from the beach. So when you're this close to the beach, you're going to pay more. For me, it's worth it. It's still less than what I would be paying in United States for just an average apartment where I was from. So to me, it's affordable and it's worth it because I wanted the pool and I wanted the beach, and I have both. So, and I pay for that dearly. Where other people, if you move to the other side of the highway, you know, I could probably get, you know, a condo or apartment or someplace to live that would be like a quarter of what I pay here. The condo includes everything except for the electricity. My electricity bill, when I first moved here, for the first, you get it every 2 months. In the first month, I think it was $60 for the 2 months. During the summer when it was extremely hot and I had the air conditioning on, and even though I wasn't home, if I went out, because I have to close everything up because I'm so close, I'm on the ground floor. People walk by because they're on their way to the beach. And I believe my highest bill was $150, which a lot of people in Mexico would think that's outrageous. But considering what you pay for electricity in the United States and where I was from, it's still a bargain at $150 US dollars. I got Netflix, but I had to pay for that, but I wasn't real happy with Netflix. So I actually have another company that I pay $30 a month and gives me everything that I could watch in Mexico, plus everything in Canada, everything in the United States. So I can actually watch my hometown local news. I can watch all of my local TV. I love sports. I can watch all my Philadelphia Eagles. So to me, it's worth it. I pay $30 a month for that. The other expenses is groceries. Groceries are less expensive. Some things are more expensive, and the things that are more expensive are the things that I'm used to, brands and everything that I'm used to from the United States. But Mexican things definitely are a lot less inexpensive. I do order meals from a company that they come and deliver them, and for like 3 meals it's like 650 pesos, which is like $35, I think, yeah, for like 3 meals. So, and then I just have them, and I go out to eat. If you eat on Fifth Avenue, you're paying Fifth Avenue prices, tourist prices. Occasionally I eat there only if like friends are here and they want to eat someplace there. I don't really go out to eat that often, just usually with friends, like after church we go out, but it's like local places and it's not in this area, which is kind of like the tourist area. It's the non-tourist area, so the prices are very reasonable. And other expenses, I take taxis if I need to go on the other side of the highway, because that's like a good hour's walk, and in the heat it's really hot. But it's only like, I don't know what their fee is. There's different ways of getting a taxi and paying for the taxi. Everybody has their own way. The way I do it, I have a little app that tells me how much it should cost from one zone to another zone. I look at that, tack on a little bit more for like a tip. And it usually costs, I usually pay 60 pesos to go from here to the other side of the highway. I have that expense if I take taxis. I do have friends that have cars, so lots of times they come and pick me up and take me where I want to go, or I just go where they're going. So if they're going to the store, they're like, hey, I'm going to the store, do you want to go? Sure. And they come around and pick me up. The same with my church. is on the other side of the highway. A lady comes every day or every Sunday, picks me up, takes me to church, and brings me back. So same for Bible studies and women's meetings. She's pretty much my taxi service because she loves to drive. I've thought about getting a car in Mexico, but I'm a very nervous driver in the United States, and you can't be a nervous driver in Mexico. They're really my only expenses is my rent, my electricity. I have a cell phone, a Mexican phone, and I pay 200 pesos for a month, which is $10. I go up the street a couple blocks and get my fruit there. And I go like mid-morning. I don't like to go late in the afternoon because then it's all picked over, but I go like mid-morning after the fresh stuff has come in and get my fresh fruit. Like for, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 mangoes and a bunch of bananas might be like, I don't know, like 120 pesos, which would be $6. The new grocery store that they just built on 34th and 10th has a great produce section. The vegetables and the fruit look really, really good and fresh. And I have occasionally bought from there, but I prefer going to my little fruit stand, and I get to practice my Spanish there with him. So, and he practices English with me, but I'm not too good with my Spanish. Zisalha, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Nobody knows where it is anyway. Area. It's just easier to tell people that I live in the CTMA, which is CTM, and the beach. Because if I say the street that I live on, everybody thinks I live in Cozumel, which I don't. So it's right off of the tourist area, which is that 5th Avenue. It's right off of that, but it's 2 blocks down going towards the beach. And like I said, 2 minutes from the beach, like, I don't know, a block and a half from the beach. So it's a very nice area. It's pretty much all condos. And it's really quiet because CTMA is 46. Where it really gets busy on 5th Avenue is probably around 38th and then going lower in the numbers. This area, it's very quiet. There's really not much on 5th Avenue right in my area. So I really like that, and I like being near the beach because this is probably the prettiest beaches right here. There's the public beach, and between the public beach, there's 2 beach clubs, which I don't go to. I just go to the public beach. It's the same beach, so I don't pay to go to the beach club. Down a little further, there is another beach that if you go there before 7 a.m., you'll see a lot of people walking their dogs. Apparently, dogs are not allowed on the beach in Playa, but people do take the dogs there, but they take them early in the morning or later in the night. This area, I mean, I love it, and friends of mine that have lived in Playa for years, when they come here, they're like, oh, this is like a really great spot because I'm close enough to walk to 5th Avenue if I choose. I walk to the beach. I can walk to the grocery store. There's restaurants, actually there's a restaurant catty-cornered from me that if I want to go there to eat, there's one like 2 blocks up the street. There's plenty of restaurants to go to. So to me, this is the perfect spot. It's nice and quiet. The only thing is that I live on the ground floor. And so, and because I'm so close to the beach, people walk by. So if I go out, I have to close everything up and pull my blinds down, just for safety reasons. Not that I feel unsafe here, but it's just smart. So I feel really safe because there's a police presence around all the time. I don't really know how effective police are. I don't have any dealings with them. I just see them going up and down all the time. So safe-wise, I feel very safe here. I live here by myself. I've never felt afraid. What's so special about Playa del Carmen is probably the beach. The Caribbean Sea is just absolutely beautiful. You can't, it's just gorgeous. And where I am, I can actually see Cozumel. I can see cruise ships coming in and out. So, I mean, it's just so beautiful. There's not like the big surf waves. I think that's on the other side of Mexico. So it's nice and calm, but for Playa, I think the thing that attracts everybody is the fact that of the beach. It's just absolutely beautiful. So they have health care here in Mexico. And I don't really know too much about it. I think it's available if you're a permanent resident, which I am, but I do not use it. I have my own Medicare insurance back in the United States, and it's not that expensive, so I maintain it there. If I would ever need any type of major surgery or a major health crisis or whatever, I would just fly home and get my health care there since I'm covered under Medicare. That's what I worked all those years for. They do have a lot of pharmacies here, and in the pharmacies you can pretty much go in and there's a lot of medications that you can get that are over the counter that in the United States it would be a prescription. They do have doctors, I believe, in some of the pharmacies, so if you have like a sore throat or an ear infection or you're getting the flu or whatever like that, they do have doctors that can see you and get you checked out. But I have friends that have used the hospitals, and the cost is very, very inexpensive compared to United States and in Canada, what they would be charging. The residency process starts in your home country. For me, it was in the United States, and I applied through the Philadelphia Mexican consulate, which is close to where I live. Each consulate is different. They all have different rules, different requirements, how to get an appointment, what they want, what they don't want, what they accept, what they won't accept. Apparently, every consulate it's different. For Philadelphia, it was a very easy process. Although I had to wait 4 months to get my appointment, I went online and you plug in your information, why you want an appointment, for what reason. That's for my visa. And the next available was in 4 months. So they gave me a list of documents. I handed her my financials, handed me my passport with my sticker in there, giving me my permanent residency. Permanent residency means I just do it one time and I'm done. Temporary residency, you get it for a year and then you have to renew it. I went under as a retired person. I was not drawing any income. I was not going to be working. For me, that was the easiest thing. I highly recommend getting a facilitator to help you with the process with immigration. I know a lot of people do it on their own. That's wonderful that they do that. I'm just not fluent in Spanish. And again, every day's a new day when you're dealing with anything with the Mexican government. So what one person tells you one day, when you go back the next day with whatever they told you, someone else might tell you something different. I just find it easier to have a facilitator. They know the people at immigration. They know the process. They know the forms. I don't speak Spanish. They do. The forms are all in Spanish. It's just so much easier to have a facilitator. So my typical day here in Playa varies from day to day. I'm retired, so I don't really have a schedule. I do volunteer work. I go on Tuesday mornings, I spend the morning at the high school helping the senior students with their English pronunciation and words. So that kind of helps them get better jobs because they're be more fluent in English. So I do that on Tuesday mornings. Right now they're on, Christmas break. And I also volunteer at one of the pet rescues. There's many pet rescues in Playa because there's a lot of dogs on the street that get rescued and are up for adoption. So I do volunteer at one of the pet rescues. Basically, what I'm doing is walking the dogs because otherwise they stay in their little cages. So I walk them, and I really enjoy that. I also, when you're on Facebook, there's a lot of groups, and you can kind of like pick out like things that you're interested in. I love to read, so I belong to a book club. This book club is more than a book club. We pick a book once a month, we read it if you choose to, and then we have a get together and we discuss the book for about 5 minutes. The rest of the time is just socializing. Within the book club, they do a lot of different things. They'll get a group of us together and we'll take a van and we'll go to Cancun, to the big shopping center there, and then to Costco for the day. We've done local shopping tour, local shopping. So we all hop into the van and the van takes us. They do have trips to other places. Next week I'll be going to Bacalar for 4 days. They have a little trip planned. So that keeps me busy doing those things. And I too volunteer with the kids and with the dogs. I am active in my church. I go to a English and Spanish speaking church. So the first service is in English, the second service is in Spanish. So they also have activities. There's a women's Bible study that I go to on Friday mornings. There's also a women's meeting once a month that is held at the pastor's home for the women. So there's many things that I have during the week. I also have a dog walker that comes and walks my dog twice a week for an hour. I do order groceries online that they come and deliver them. All the grocery stores, including Walmart, will deliver your groceries for a very small fee. I think it's 38 pesos they charge for delivery. They did build a new grocery store just probably like about 10 minutes away, walking distance, which is really nice. So, I do go there and get small orders. But if I need a big order, I do it online. I go out with friends. If they're going someplace, they come and pick me up and we jump in their car and we go someplace to different areas outside of Playa that I wouldn't normally get to see because I don't have a car. So that's really nice. And if they're going out to eat, they call me and say, oh, we're going such and such a place. We'll be by to pick you up. I'm moving to Mexico that I did not anticipate with, and that was the first thing was probably the language. I took Spanish back in high school, but that was in the dark ages, so I really didn't remember anything except like hola, adios. That was about it. The struggle is in this area, because there are so many expats, a lot of people speak English, and the Mexicans that live here, most of them can speak enough English to get by. I can get my needs known and we can figure it out. And there's always Google Translate when I really am desperate. Was when I first moved here, being single and not knowing anybody. I moved here not knowing a soul, not speaking the language, and not having any kind of transportation. So I felt very isolated. So finding my church was a top priority for me. By finding my church, I found community and friends there. And then through that, I found, like volunteering. So I found friends there, and this friend, she is involved with this. So that took me to this and then to that. So Isolation was a little bit of a struggle initially because I was here by myself, couldn't speak to anybody, and I just knew this area. Being from the Pennsylvania, we're used to go. We're like fast. So in Mexico, everything is slow. So when the maintenance man comes and he's supposed to come at 11, he may not come at 11. He may come at 4, or he may come the next day. So getting used to slowing down and being on Mexican time is an adjustment, because being from the Northeast part, that we're very, we want things done right away. So that took a while. I'm getting better with it. I just try to take a deep breath and relax, and it will get done. Since moving here, my life's changed a lot. For one thing, when I lived in the United States, I was working full time, and I had a big house to maintain and over an acre of property to maintain. So here, I just have my 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. I don't have to worry about the land, the little grass area. The maintenance man does all that. So as far as that, and now I'm retired. I've worked all these years, and now I'm retired, and I really can do what I want to do. So I have my hobbies. I can go to the beach. I can go to the pool. I can do both in the same day. I can really just do what I want to do, and at a slower pace. I'm enjoying the fact that I still get up early in the morning, but I have that quiet time in the morning to do my devotions, and then just really just appreciate the sunshine and the blue skies and the ocean and the clouds, and just the beauty of Playa. The expression is, stop and smell the roses. Well, now I've been able to stop and smell the roses. I've been able to relax. It's really stress-free. My biggest stress is, do I want to go to the beach today, or do I want to go to the pool? That's the biggest decisions I make. I would say my life has changed for the best being in Mexico. I like this pace, I like the weather, and I like the calmness. And this area really gives me that calmness. So it's a good change. So I would say probably the biggest things I would advise people that are thinking about moving to Mexico is do your research at home. If you're in the United States or Canada or whatever other country, I would recommend doing a lot of research beforehand. I did research. I brought my dog down here, so I had to research what airlines I can take on. Can he travel in the cabin? Does he have to go by cargo? You need to know all those things. You have to be able to figure out the cost, and probably starting some type of learning the language, or working on learning the language and practicing it. That's the key, to practice. That would be my advice. The other thing is, if you're not familiar with Mexico, or you don't know what area, come and visit different areas first and decide what you like. Playa, it's very, very hot in the summer. And I thought it was hot in Pennsylvania in the summer. It's even worse in Playa. So it was tough being here in the summer. So kind of get to know the area before you settle down. And I would not buy anything before living here for at least 6 months, maybe a year, even longer, before you decide to buy something. Vacation here and living here is different. But that would be my advice: is research, learn the language, and come visit and check out the areas that you seem to fit what you want. If you want beach, if you want mountains, if you want lake, if you want small community that's all Mexicans and speak Spanish, they say that's the best way to learn Spanish. So, decide think of what you want, how much you want to pay in rent, and do that before you make any type of long-term commitment. I didn't do all those things, but it all worked out for me anyway.